Today I'm going to be talking about my experience at the New York Academy of Art. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the school. I'm about to graduate in 2 months. It is currently March 2022. I graduate at the end of April. So the way that this school is set up is that the first year is really rigorous and you take a lot of introductory courses so that the second year you can kind of come out of your shell and create your own work that you never would have been able to create without these foundational courses, because a lot of people lack the skill set to do what they're wanting to do or what they're capable of doing. The main reason why I wanted to come to this school was so that I could get better technically. I also had a whole different mindset. I thought that I was going to do one thing and then ended up completely changing what I was going to do, which is really common because of how much information you're taking in and you're being exposed to so many things in New York City coming from rural Maryland. And my family's from New York. It's not like I've never been to New York City before. I was born on Long Island. I just grew up in Maryland. You don't see a lot of art in person, especially in rural areas. Where I'm from, everything is just a crab in the ocean and stuff, so that's all that I saw. Experiencing work online is a lot different than experiencing it in person, and being surrounded by all of these people who know so much, and all of these students, because your classmates are from all over the world, it really changes the way that you think about yourself and the way you think about your art. So I'm going to go through the list of classes that are mandatory. Everyone has the same exact schedule the first year. I think the second semester you get one elective, but everyone takes the same classes. You just have different teachers, so I'm going to give some recommendations on my teachers that I had that I really liked, and give a really short description of the classes. Your first year and your first semester, you're going to take, this is all information that's on the website, you're going to take direct painting, anatomy 1, figure drawing 1, art and culture 1, 1860 through 1960, and then history and theory of composition. Direct painting 1 I took with Jean-Pierre Roy, JP everybody calls him. He is amazing. If you can get JP, you should totally take him. I took him because he's great with color, and if you've known my work, you know that I really love color, and he paints from his imagination. He's amazing. In JP's Painting 1 class, you're gonna do a lot of stuff in black and white at first. You're gonna do a lot of still lives. You're gonna learn everything about how to mix colors, all the difference between oil paints. You're gonna learn a lot of color theory. You're also going to have a lot of homework that are self-portrait homework. So every week you're going to be doing a self-portrait of yourself, and then as the semester goes on, the palettes will change. So you'll have black and white at first, and then you'll have a dead palette, and then he'll give you some other ones. And then for your final project, you can do whatever you want. Anatomy 1 is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to learn the skeletal system and the muscles, and then you're going to make a clay model, and it's really hard, just giving you the heads up. Figure drawing, I took it with Dan Thompson. He's really amazing. I do recommend him. He has a YouTube channel, so if you want to check out his YouTube channel, it has a couple of teaching videos on there. So the way that Dan Thompson's class worked is every week he kind of gives you a different technique, and then you can apply each of those techniques to what best suits you. He's also he's just a great teacher. He's great at explaining things. JP's also a really great teacher at explaining things. He's very patient. He will help you if you need help or if you're not understanding something. He's just really awesome. Had Art and Culture 1 with Clifford Owens. Again, super recommend Clifford. Art and culture at the school is mostly reading and writing and a lot of discussion. It was awesome. I really like that class. Also, you're going to start brainstorming your thesis in your very first semester, so your writing is going to be kind of catered you know, it's your first semester, so you don't know what you want to do for your thesis, but you're starting to find the ideas of like what you want to do for your thesis, or maybe just like exploring things in general. History and Theory of Composition, I took with Wade Schumann. Love Wade, he's awesome. More work than I thought that it was going to be, but it definitely helped me out in the end. He also is like a little bit harsh, and like you might feel really frustrated, but you will like the class in the end. So the reason why the class is kind of hard is with Wade is because you have to make a painting that is inspired by like a classical, not a classical, but like a painting from art history. But when I say inspired, it's more like, I'm not explaining this correctly. You're thinking like the artist that made the painting. So it shouldn't look like the painting. It shouldn't have the same palette as the painting. But you should be thinking like if Van Gogh, you have to be thinking like how Van Gogh looked. It doesn't mean that you're painting like Van Gogh, and it doesn't mean that you're, using black, blue, and yellow and white. This is a horrible description. That's the class that I discovered the painting that completely transformed my work in. So thank you, Wade Schumann, you're awesome. So painting 2 is when you're really going to be working on the figure. Painting 1, you're mostly doing still lifes. That's how it was for JP. For painting 2, I had Zane York, amazing guy, amazing painter. He is all about teaching students how to paint like old masters. So you're going to have 3 different like exercises in the semester. One of them is going to be like painting like Rembrandt, and then the second one is painting with a terre verte color, and then the final painting, honestly I don't even remember what the final one is, but they're all based on like a historical context. And that's what I think was really interesting about his class, is because like you're actually learning how to paint how the old masters did, and then you can transform that into anything and like make it contemporary. For figure drawing 2, I'm not going to say who I had because I did not like the teacher I had for figure drawing 2. I feel like that class I could have learned more in, and currently at the school, figure drawing 2 is only a 3-hour of instruction class in the morning and then a 3-hour uninstructed, which was not helpful. We're currently trying to petition for that to change so that it's a full 6-hour instructed period. By the way, if I didn't already say this, every class is 6 hours, but sometimes you might have a 6-hour class and then a 3. So most classes are 6 hours. Lecture classes are 3 hours. So you might have a 6-hour painting class and then a lecture class afterwards. Then you'll have 9-hour classes. But then there's space in between. That's what makes the days longer. Whatever. Theory and Practice of Composition 2. Who did I have for that? I honestly don't even remember. And Anatomy 2 was really hard. Anatomy 2 is drawing. So your first anatomy is like sculpting, and then the second one is drawing, and it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. It was horrible. If you're super into anatomy, if you already know anatomy, that's great. Learning anatomy is so important, and it does help. It's just hard. And then my elective I had with Margaret Boland. I took her pastel class. She's amazing. Me and Margaret are like this together. She's my main. Wade Schumann and Margaret Boland are the 2 faculty members that have helped me the most at the school. I'm also in her painting class right now, but I'm gonna get to that. So painting 3 I took with Margaret Boland. Art and Culture 2, I'm not gonna say who I had because I don't like them. Not that I don't like them, but I didn't like the class. Thesis. So when you're in your second year, your thesis advisor is for the full year. So my thesis advisor is Wade. And then my electives last semester were Drawing from the Imagination and Unusual Materials. I thought that I was going to like Drawing from the Imagination more, but I just didn't like the class structure, so I did not like that class. Doesn't mean that you're not going to like it. I'm just, telling you my opinion. Another thing about my work is that I came to the school thinking that I was just going to be a painter, and then like halfway through I decided that I was going to do sculpture. My Unusual Materials class I took with Corey Beardsley. Monica Cook does not work at the school anymore. She lives upstate. and she's currently creating like a residency program. I only met her once. We did like a studio visit with her. I mean, I love Corey. She's amazing. I just wish that I could have talked to Monica more. By the way, if I didn't already say this, you get to choose your teachers. Currently, right now, I'm in my final semester. I have painting 4 with Margaret Boland, thesis with Wade, and then my 2 electives are 3D modeling and Man and Beast. 3D modeling I'm taking now. I really like the class, but it's definitely like hard. It's like I said, it's not like an advanced class. It's like for complete beginner people, which is still hard. And then I'm taking Man and Beast, which is great because it's like farm animals come and we get to draw them and we get to like go to the zoo and do all this fun stuff. Copying at the Met was a class that I wanted to take, but because of COVID, they're not doing it. So again, if you are like watching this video and you're thinking about going to the school, that class is not happening currently. This is the very first drawing that I ever did of my work that I'm doing right now, which is exactly 1 year ago. And if I never went to this school, I would have never, ever made this work. The way that I think, the way that I paint, everything has completely changed for the better. You don't want to pay all this money to go to a school to leave painting the same shit that you were painting 2 years ago. People are meant to change. People are meant to evolve. And it was inevitable. And I think that the place that I'm at right now is the best place that I've ever been for my art. So during your second year, when you're starting to like develop who you are and like this new kind of work that you're making, you're gonna have a lot of critiques with people. And not everyone is going to like your work. I have had people say some fucked up shit to me, and you kind of just have to roll with the punches. You can't let people like bring you down, because at the end of the day, you're making art for yourself. And also, just because someone has like a certain opinion doesn't mean that your artwork is bad. So like, for example, my paintings are like really animated. They're not traditional. My work just ended up being that way, and I'm kind of like the black sheep. There's a couple people in my grade, I don't know, what do you call it, class, that paint similarly to me, and people that have graduated from the school that paint similar to me, but we're kind of like the lesser few of people. So therefore, like during critiques and stuff, sometimes people just don't know what to say, or like they don't like my work because it's not what they want or like what they envisioned me being capable of doing. There's just so many different opinions that it might feel like you have all these voices in your head telling you to do different things, but you have to be able to kind of like pick and choose what advice you're going to take and what advice you're not going to take, or maybe you don't want to take any advice at all. The way that it works is you have like a midterm and then a final for each semester, but then your final is like the one before you graduate, and that one is like more serious than the one that's in December, because the one that's in December is like you can bring unfinished work, you still have time to fix things. They might be like a little bit more harsh, although apparently I have heard that sometimes people have really bad final critiques. I hope that that's not me. I just had my midterm for this semester and it went really amazing. However, my final critique for December 2021 was really bad. I didn't think that it was going to be bad, but it was not good. People were arguing about like whether my paintings were better than my drawings, like they weren't understanding the sculpture. Some people said that like wasn't making enough work, you know, whatever. I don't know what's going to happen at the final critique, but I know that I'm working really hard, and hopefully, you know, if my midterm went good, I don't see why my final critique wouldn't go good. Since I am a student at this school during COVID, there's a lot of things that are kind of like still up in the air that I don't know what's happening with. So if you're trying to figure out what's happening with the residencies currently and you're looking to apply to this school, as of right now, because of COVID-19, there is no residencies. We can't internationally travel. We have been trying to propose domestic residencies. We haven't heard any response on that besides them telling us to like find them ourselves. I don't think they're going to award us residencies. If they do, I will update. They're still awarding the Chubb Fellows. The Chubb Fellowship is only for $10,000. I think that's about everything that I'm gonna say in this video in regards to the actual school. But I did have a couple of things that I wanted to say about like moving here in general. So if you're moving to New York and you're moving here to go to the academy, you can be added to a bulletin so that you can have a roommate that's a student at the school. This does not mean that your roommate is going to be nice or you're going to like them. But if I was you, I would contact the school. I think her name is like Amy. It used to be Noelle Timmons, but I think it's Amy Hugh or something. Let me find the girl's name. Because when I moved here, the reason why I had to move so many times is because I found an apartment off of like Facebook. Don't do that. Please don't. Because I had insane roommates. Yeah, Amy Hugh is her name. It's becoming like pitch black in this room at this point. But I also wanted to talk about my work a little bit more. I'm making work that's for me. I don't care if other people want to buy it. I don't care if other people even want to look at it. And that's what you should be doing. It can be really discouraging spending so much money going to this school and feeling like you have gotten nothing out of it and feeling like you're not worth it because the person next to you might be selling all of their work. People come through the school, they buy things off the wall and compliment other people, and they might just walk right by you and act like you don't exist. But that doesn't mean that you're not a good artist, and it doesn't mean that you're not worth anything. And, you know, you're not going to understand what I mean until it happens, and it sucks. It really fucking sucks. But you have to just keep pushing. You have to just ignore everything because you have to have this drive to just keep making what you want to make. At the end of the day, if nobody likes it, who fucking cares? Because if you like it, that's what's important. Knowing that and having this battle with myself, I feel like my work is the best that it's ever been. And I don't know where these ideas are coming from. I haven't really quite figured it out yet because it's all kind of like happening so fast, and you'll realize when you come to the academy that you're learning so much information that it kind of takes you a little bit to process this information and like process you know, your technical skills. Like one day you're gonna wake up and you're like, oh my god, I'm like way better at painting than I was like a week ago. That seriously happens. And you're kind of gonna have like these breakthrough moments, but it will be like a push and pull. You're not gonna be this amazing painter every second. You're gonna have a good painting, you're gonna have a bad painting, you're gonna have a good drawing, you're gonna have a bad drawing. I also want to stress, do a lot of studies. Do a million studies. I should have said that the first thing. You need to be working out your ideas. You're not making a gigantic, beautiful painting that's going to withstand the test of time with one drawing. You should be making hundreds of drawings. This is why you're at school all day long, 7 days a week. Thanks so much for watching, and if you want to check out more of my work, you can follow me on Instagram at Arielle Tesoriero, or go on my website, which is Arielle Tesoriero. I also have a TikTok, so yeah, comment below if you have any questions that I didn't answer. So thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time.